This is a meditation. It's called, in Buddhism they call it emptiness. And that aspect of God that I was speaking about earlier, the two aspects, how God is superimposed upon God essentially. This is God's thought permeating out of God. They call that the Paramatma, which is the transcendental soul. It's the super soul. And in Buddhism they call it emptiness though. Just as we were speaking about how really everything is just an ephemeral experience. When you feel anger, when you feel joy, joy's okay, but whenever these things, they're gonna pass. They're ephemeral. They're just momentary. So that is knowledge. That is the emptiness of those things. That's what Buddhism means by emptiness. So this is an emptiness meditation. It is taught by a guy named Geshe Michael Roach. So basically the beginning, so we'll start off. He talks about, this is something you can do yourself. There's something called preliminaries. And they say, just like warming up before a race, there's certain preliminaries that aid in meditation. So one of the things he says is try and sit erect. And one thing he says is like, imagine you're trying to push the cushion down or push your seat down with your bottom. So one of the first preliminaries is a prostration. So usually before you sit down to meditate, but you can do it mentally. So think of something you consider holy. It could be a person, it could be God itself, it could be angels, it could be your grandmother, it could be something, it could be your dog, something that you think can help you spiritually. So the next preliminary then is a practice called bodhicitta, which means to remove suffering essentially from other people. So think of someone else in the world that is having a problem, and think about a way you can help them in the short run to remove their suffering, and think of a way that you can help them in the long run. So maybe you'll give them a call, maybe you'll take them out for tea, maybe you'll take them to an event like this, something that will be good for them. So the next preliminary is to invite a holy being into this space. You can think of my Guru Ama if you can't think of anyone else, or a soul that you connect with, or even God itself. And you want to envision this. You want to envision whatever you're inviting. Try and imagine them. They could be sitting next to you or on an altar. Try and envision what they look like. Try and see their breathing. Smell maybe what they smell like. So now you want to give a mental prostration to them. Prostration is like when you see someone bow down. Usually you get on their knees and bow. It's an Indian custom. But a mental prostration, you want to think of a quality of this person. So say like my Guru Ama, she's given darshan to 35 million people. She's signed up to abolish slavery declaration with Pope Francis recently, and amongst other spiritual leaders in the world. And trying to think of a quality of this being that's just so magnanimous, and that you would like this quality. Imagine if you could get this quality too. There's gurus who sleep only 2 hours a night and stay up all day serving people, answering questions, just giving of their life. So the other prostration or oblation to whatever soul or whatever aspect of God you've invited into this room is to offer cloud. Imagine the entire sky is covered in flowers, and you're offering this to them. And they say that we offer two things. We offer something that we own. So you can offer even your effort in this meditation right now, or something good that you're doing. Maybe you're a good employee, or a good daughter, or a good son, or you've something good that you're doing on a regular basis, and you can offer this to them, as well as offering maybe even mountains or the city that we're in. So the next preliminary is to think of something maybe poor that you've done recently. Think of maybe a time you got angry or something. Maybe you might have upset someone, you forgot about an important date or something like that. And kind of ask whatever you've invited into this room to remove that karma so it doesn't affect your meditation. And now the next preliminary is to think of something good that you're doing. Maybe what you've already offered to whatever you've invited into this space. And by this time, you should almost, after thinking of the good things you're doing in your life, you should almost have like a smile on your face a little bit, because you just should be so happy about the good things that you're doing, and happy that you are doing good things with this life. So that ends the preliminaries. So the meditation, I'll take you right to the end of it. The Buddha taught different things of emptiness, different ways of looking at it, in terms of karma, in terms of the world being only a manifestation of your own karma, or the world being its own karma and you having your own karma. And he taught all these ways that were actually wrong. And he taught them because they're the most common mistakes in meditation. But this is called Maha Mudra. Maha meaning great. Mudra is a kind of a sustained posture. And it's the highest middle way of Buddhism. So this is what I'm about to teach leads you to enlightenment, leads you to becoming an enlightened master. It's said to be the highest karmic good you can do for the entire universe, your time in this meditation. So basically you want to think of a problem maybe you're having. Something that's common. Maybe you're getting upset with your parents. Maybe you're worried about money. Maybe you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend and that's what you want. And now, in reality, scientifically speaking, everything in the world is only a combination of cones, cylinders, and light. This is what physics says. So now, instead of seeing this problem as a problem, you want to just see it as cones, cylinders, and light. And now traditionally, you can start off with using it to see a problem, see the emptiness of a problem, but you want to actually apply it to a part of your mind. So that thing which is actually looking out into the universe, which is actually perceiving, you want to apply it on a very subtle level and just see that this equipment, see whatever you're perceiving with your body, with energy, whatever you're perceiving, see it as cones, cylinders, and light. Now we'll conclude. So in scriptures they say, now envision whatever it was that you invited into this room. Could be whatever you think my Guru Amma looks like, or whatever it was, something you consider to be holy. And they say, so we have a conversation with this being and we say, you know, wouldn't it be great if I could be you for the rest of the day? And the scriptures say that this being smiles and looks at you and says, oh, that would be wonderful. So we say now, okay, now come here. Come in, join with me. And we see that this being floats up into the air and kind of shrinks down to about the size of an inch and comes and lands softly on the top of your head. And like an elevator shaft, your spine kind of opens up and this being slowly starts to descend into your body. And you can feel the warmth and the radiance of this being start to fill your soul. And it comes down this elevator shaft and comes into a little room just behind your heart. And it's about the size of a pea, the scriptures say. And imagine that you have like the most comfortable seat in the world, and this being comes and sits and stays in this little pea-sized room. And their energy just permeates throughout your entire body. And you can even like throughout the day feel this being coursing through your veins. And if you ever have a problem, you can just kind of mentally come and knock on the outside of this pea and you come into the room and the being's happy to see you, and it's just a way to kind of make yourself feel uplifted. But now feel that this energy of this pure soul is just permeating your entire being and now permeating the rest of the world, and you're sharing this energy with the entire world. And so practice this as often as you feel. If it worked for you, practice it. It's nice to practice something like this every day. That's a bit of a goal, but okay, I'll conclude with a final chant. It's called the Triambakam. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandham pustavardhanam urvarakmiva vandanam mrityor mokshyamamritad. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandham pustavardhanam urvarakmiva vandanam mrityor mokshyamamritad. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandham pustavardhanam urvarakmiva vandanam mrityor mokshyamamritad. Om Sarvesham Swasti Vavatu Sarvesham Shanti Vavatu Sarvesham Purnam Vavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Vavatu Sarve Vavatu Sukhina Sarve Santanaramaya Sarve Bandharani Pashantu Makashe Dukhabha Bhaved Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamara Purnamida Purnad Purnamurachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.